morning. Welcome to Transforming Learning. It's an exciting day we've got today. I'm George Saltzman. I'm really happy to be here with you today. We have an amazing lineup of speakers that I think you are going to find both enlightening and inspirational. We have such a great opportunity to put some of the best minds in education in front of you today. Dr. Ponce from McAllen ISD, who's doing such amazing things. We've got Bill Rankin here from Abilene Christian University, a medievalist. When I think about who I want to talk about technology, I think, a medievalist has got to be the right person. We have John Couch, who is a Silicon Valley pioneer. He's an educator and a technologist that is just an amazing guy. And we have Marco Antonio Torres, who is, I think, one of the most inspirational educators in the U.S., and he's one of the most sought-after educational speakers, and we have him here today. Couldn't be more excited. Before we get going, this is a little bit embarrassing to say at a conference like this, but all right, your cell phones, I need you to take those out. Would you turn them on? This is a technology conference. We need you to talk to one another. We're social beings, okay? So I have the box. You guys know the box. Oops. This is the cell phone box. If you are found not using your cell phone today, it goes in the box. All right? You'll see that the transformlearning.com will go to the online schedule today, and if you tweet, there is a Twitter hashtag, and we expect to see you tweeting on that Transform Learn. Wi-Fi. Get connected. There is public Wi-Fi throughout this facility, and the McAllen Public Wi-Fi is available to you. We hope that you would get connected. Done with that. On a more serious note, it's a great opportunity to have a conference like this be able to provide it at no cost. And there are many people who have helped make that available to you. The relationship between education and the corporate world and the community here in McAllen is really strong. And it's through the participation of the City of McAllen and the McAllen Chamber of Commerce and the McAllen Economic Development Corporation that we're able to offer you this conference at such a great facility and at no cost. So if there are members from the City of McAllen or the Chamber of Commerce or the Economic Development Corporation, would you please stand for just a moment so we can all clap for you? Great. Again, thanks so much. The conference is hosted by two really great technology organizations. First, Abilene Christian University. Abilene Christian University began a program that was called ACU Connected 4 years ago as an experiment to understand how consumer devices like the iPhone and the iPod Touch would change the way that educators worked in the classroom. And it's been an amazing success. There has been enormous amount of inspiration and ingenuity and just trial and error that's taken place as people are seeing how to use these devices in very meaningful ways to change learning. And of course, out of ACU, there was a lot of conversations that began about how can we engage a dialogue with ACU about what's going on. And so ACU began a public outreach group called Connected Consulting that would work with K-12s and other institutions to help with the engagement factor of what goes on in the classroom when you think about digital devices and changing the way that students learn. And of course, we couldn't be here without McAllen ISD. McAllen ISD has done some amazing things. There's a lot of very inspirational kinds of things that are happening that we're going to share with you today. You're going to hear from the trenches, the teachers who are on the front line, who are thinking about all the different types of things that are going on with these devices. Okay? One of the things that we want to do is offer you an official welcome from McAllen ISD. So I'm going to ask Dr. Ponce Dr. James Ponce to come to the stage and provide you a little bit of a welcome, talk about what TLC Cubed is. It is transforming learning in the classroom, in the campus, and in the community. That's what TLC Cubed is about, and here to tell you about that is Dr. Ponce. If you didn't notice, Dr. Ponce was issued in the spotlight for the January issue of Texas School Business. He was recently invited to join the League of Innovative Schools, which is a national center founded to provide breakthrough technologies that transform education. He was invited to participate in the White House Hispanic Community Action Summit and to testify before the Technology Committee at the State Capitol. Dr. Ponce is a member of the TASA Visioning Network design team. And did you guys catch in Texas Monthly, where Texas Monthly asked if McAllen ISD is the most forward-thinking district in America? That was very amazing. Would you please welcome to the stage Dr. James Ponce.
Good morning, everyone. Excited to be here? I am very much so excited also. It's a lot of planning, a lot of thinking through, and it's good to see everybody from across the state of Texas, from outside of Texas coming to join us in McAllen. Always thinking about what we need to do for students. And that's the one thing that I've changed and switched over a little bit about this investment. This investment isn't in technology. This investment is in our children. So when you start getting a little bit of that pushback, we know and kind of change that over to say, hey, this investment is in our children, and the people in this room are the people that are counted on to make it happen. They have me here. You never have a script. There's a time limit, because if I go away from the script and start talking over here, I'll take forever. So I'm going to do a little bit of script just to make sure they keep me on time and on task. But I also like to. I need to thank some people. I know George did, and thank you, George, for thanking the individuals. But I do need to thank some people, because there's a lot of work previous to this, and that's what hopefully today is about. Talking about the work previous to this that gets you to this point, because a lot of the learning takes place, and a lot of the sharing has to take place at that level for you to begin to start at that moment. But first, I do want to thank the chamber and the chamber members and Steve Elanius for all the work they've done. And Steve, if you just kind of raise your hand again, thanks a lot. And all the chamber members also. The city, I know Mayor Cortez and Steve and Mike Bettis and the commissioners, they've also been great partners with us also, so thank you for them too. I don't know if anyone's here, if they are, just raise your hand, but I want to thank them also. ACU, Abel, I think he's sitting out there. We have Abel, Dr. Schubert, Billy, Trent, and Bill. Just kind of raise your hands, the initial partners of thinking through. We have Apple, we have Tom Burnett, we have Tom Izagirre, Monty, Chris, Rodney, those initial guys that help us think through. If you kind of raise your hands also so you know those guys are here. Thank you. And later on you'll see our John Couch, our VP for Apple Education, but he's kind of our featured speaker. Again, Cadre 1, the first cadre of teachers and principals, if you raise your hand, just in that group of, those are the teachers and principals and community members and parents that kind of had the courage to, as I put out the idea of, here's a whiteboard exercise, here's a 21st century learning environment, we're in the 21st century, we have digital natives, what does that need to look like for McAllen ISD? And they kind of laid this path, and they're the ones that brought us to this point. They were the big thinkers around how we need to get to this point and start launching some of this that was going on. Also, the cabinet, just for all the work they've done and kind of pull all this together. Are there any elected officials in the House? I want to make sure we just acknowledge all the elected officials if they're able to make it. We had the invite. I think a couple will make it later. I'm going to get to y'all. Pat Carr and Carmen. Is Pat and Carmen here? And Pat, I thought Pat over here. Pat, and I think we're a lot of working with those guys. Of course, our board members. You talk about, here's the one word that I'm surprised about a lot, the courage. It's like everybody's saying, hey, thanks for having the courage. But a lot of that courage is with our board, because When you start talking about elected officials and people that are putting themselves out there in the front, you start talking about McAllen ISD out in front and doing some of these things, it can't happen without a board who has the courage to take something and absorb. And they don't just, it's mainly looked at like it was that night that they approved, but there was a lot of work that they did beforehand to really think this through and put us in this position. We have Sam Saldivar Jr., our president. We have Danny Vela, our vice president. We have Hilda DeSaggio, our secretary, our assistant secretary, Erica de la Garza. We have Debbie Aliceda. And then Joe Caparuso and Javier Farias are able to make it. They're coming later on. So we appreciate that making it happen for this, as we say, for the children of McAllen. It's not about the device, it's about the children. And then I have to say this, really, Norma. Is Norma and her crew? Where's Norma? Oh, back. Norma, thanks a lot. I know Norma's been working tirelessly for about a month or so on this. A lot of this work and a lot of pulling it together and the behind the scenes for y'all to hopefully have a very fruitful day was based upon what Norma's doing. So thank you so much for what you did, Norma. We did launch TLC Cubed on October 18th of 2011. We said it would be placing mobile devices into the hands of every student. In February, we did begin the rollout of iPads and iTouch devices, and we were hoping to unlock the teacher's ability to expand our classrooms. But really, when we start talking about it in the initial conversations, it's not about the device. It's an expansion on the perspectives of the equity of access to information and to knowledge, creating a learning environment to meet the demands and the needs of a digital native. It's about preparing a child to create 4 jobs in their adult life. At one time, we were just creating it. In our history of creating jobs, we knew what the jobs were. That's what you went to university for. And just not even a decade ago, we talked about creating a person was going to have to, they're going to change 4 jobs. But now we're talking about a learning environment, and what we're responsible for in public ed is creating 4 jobs. And that's kind of crazy when you think about it. There's a second grader sitting, my baby's a second grader. How do you prepare in what we're doing them to create 4 jobs in their adult life? That's the notion, and that's our challenge and our opportunity to make it happen. So that's really what it's about. It's about also leveraging the expertise of our teaching staff. Our goal, as we say, and I'll take that from some of our principals say it's gold. Our goal is really at the campus level. And it is, and we know when we break it down on a daily basis, that interaction with a teacher and leveraging that expertise and making sure that we change that professional development model, that delivery of our own knowledge and expertise so that we can make sure that happens at that rate that's needing. But most of all, it's putting it together in the hands of letting kids take it forward also. When the students take it forward, they take it at a pace that's a little bit faster than us, so it costs us a little bit of that good creative tension and allows us to be innovative. A year ago, we did put together, like I say, we came together and called it the Cadre 1, and it did include representatives from all sectors of our school community. And it was that conversation that began there, and that was the root of TLC Cubed. As we've said before, it is transforming learning in the classroom, campus, and community. And it's about leveraging everyone's collective expertise, including parents, including children, and including the community. When you look about that, the whole environment's changing and learning doesn't take place anymore in the classroom. And that's why you need to involve the community in making sure that all aspects are ready to take that on. It's an entire culture change, a student-centered, inquiry-based learning coupled with the use of mobile devices.
Technology is in our blood. And as a teenager growing up in the 21st century, we have technology everywhere. Everywhere I go, there's technology that plays a crucial role in the efficiency of my life. Compared to how things are at school, I mean, you get here, you have books, you have paper, you have pencils, you have this, you have that. In our society nowadays, everyone uses technology, everywhere.
I always struggled with organization in my life. I mean, having 6 different teachers give you all the different papers, folders, notes, and binders and stuff, it was a big load for me to have. I got my iPad in April, and ever since I've got it, having just one place to do everything. I've taken notes on it. I have a to-do list that physically reminds me with an alarm when I'm supposed to do certain things, when I'm supposed to turn in things. It's just taken so much stress out of my life.
When a child's imagination is untethered by the mechanisms of the past, learning can truly be limitless. That's the transformational essence behind TLC Cubed. It's an innovative teaching and learning framework that McAllen ISD is developing to leverage powerful new technologies and merge them with challenge-based learning. This multidisciplinary approach, TLC Cube's learning environment, fosters higher levels of engagement, innovation, and creativity while integrating the cutting-edge technology that students crave and desperately need.
They want more, and when a student wants more, you can't wait to give them more, and you're looking for more ways to see that hunger for education, for knowledge.
What are these organs right here? As a teacher, it really made me feel that we were going to catapult our kids into the technology-driven world that they're going to be working in.
The district assembled teams of teachers and unleashed their ingenuities to dream up learning experiences for students, and it worked to provide the technological tools to make the experiences possible.
I'm not a tech. I have trouble with computers, but when you give me an iPad and an iPhone, it's just too easy. The night before, they've been overstimulated for 3 or 4 hours. They get to my class, I can't just put a pencil and a paper in front of them and all of a sudden their world grinds to a halt. If I can get a math app to compete with the graphics of their games, that's what I'm looking for, and that's where they're going to be paying more attention. In fact, they're going to learn more.
And then now the world opens up. So you can have conversations in your classroom, in your local community, at the state level. You can have conversations globally.
The majority of your everyday average kids know how to use technology in a social setting to work for them socially, but they really don't know how to make technology work for them for their academic success. They don't know how to take control of their learning, and those kind of skills they're going to need in the business world and in the creative world that awaits them.
We're turning a corner in technology that we've never turned before. It's a better way to educate. So if we can just take what he knows with technology, maybe he will be where we want him to be.
The type of student that I teach today in 2011 is not the type of student that I taught in 2001. We have 21st century learners who are digital natives. This generation is a very techie generation, and so in order to keep up with that, then we as teachers need to utilize that as well.
There's blogs, there's wiki spaces, there's Google Docs, and the students are constantly asked to do something that is 21st century, and the challenge-based learning is going to move our teachers forward and move our students forward altogether.
If we were going to equip our students and staff to compete at a global level, we knew that transformational thinking was our only option.
With McAllen ISD's student demographics coupled with its international environment, the technology cadre of students, teachers, administrators, parents, and community leaders agreed the district faces a critical need for change and a sense of urgency.
We're looking to level the playing field for a community that's underrepresented, and we're looking at changing not only the future of 25,000 plus kids today, but for generations to come.
When we had our initial conversations with Apple, we quickly realized scaling to 25,000 students was going to require a bold new way of thinking. From another perspective, we had the good fortune that Abilene Christian University is world-renowned for their instructional technology and what they do with instructional technology.
We've made a commitment to explore how mobile devices can take student learning and student engagement to an entirely different level. Mobile learning has served as a catalyst for us to rethink and reimagine the classroom in the 21st century.
Those three entities put together all wanting to revolutionize the way we think about teaching and learning and the way we think about teaching and learning with instructional technology.
McAllen ISD gets it, and there is a vision, and they realize that technology is a great support tool. It's part of who this generation is, but they have a great vision that it's really about helping our students prepare for their future.
Ultimately, a partnership between cutting-edge educational, technological, private, and governmental resources will revolutionize the kind of creative and collaborative learning that will unleash the future of the children in our care.
I see that countless advantages to having the right devices, to having the right programs, to having the right environment for student learning.
We're poised here on an international port, but we also know that we are part of the solution. That's the part that we say ignites that learning, that spark, that revolution. It's kind of a catalyst. And we talked about the iPad at one time. It wasn't the iPad. It was the iPad in the hands of a student coupled with the teacher, and then unleashing and enjoying what's going to happen when you put those elements together, and letting them teach us what needs to happen in order to shape the future of teaching and learning, and learn from them and learn with them, and then involve everyone along the way to make sure that not only that we are informing ourselves as a community, but that we're contributing to informing the rest of the world on what's going to take to create an environment for students to flourish, to be innovative, to be creative, and to use the tools that we know will make it happen for them.
I think they're really good with games, but now we need to show them that there's more to technology than just games, that there's a wealth of information out there that if they can grab a hold of, then, oh wow, where they can go, it's like endless.
I'd like to thank the first kids you saw going on the first of the KMAC students, or the KMAC students, if you stand up and stand up. This KMAC, that's our high school students. They were instrumental in part of the video, and that's really when we interviewed the KMAC interview. They said, "Well, what made you do this?" And I said, "It was you. It's really you. It's really the child that we're really focusing on." And that's what today's about. Maybe people are asking what today's about. We're talking about, we kind of got it mixed up somewhere along the line. We really don't call it, we call it commencement, the commencement exercise, right? Graduation is a part of the commencement exercise. The commencement means the beginning of. And for some reason, we got mixed up in thinking that the tax, or now the star, was a reason for being part of public ed. But it's really the commencement exercise is why we have public education. And that's the change, and when I talk about the revolution that has to take place, is that we're not preparing children to graduate. We're preparing children for the commencement exercise, which is the beginning of their contribution to their local society or our society in general. And that's where the change is. And today, hopefully our relationship going forward and the things you're doing, this isn't a cookie cutter, what we need to happen right now, or what we have, it will happen, and you just replicate that. Hopefully it's a conversation about learning and what works for you and your district, and taking the learning that we have and helping you move along that more quickly. The other part is that there's several solutions, and hopefully you're part of one of those solutions in what you're trying to do. And that we know that together we have to learn. And that we have to fail also, but we have to fail quickly so we can learn and get it right. So that's what today's about. Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the conversation. Be part of the conversation, and we look forward to what's going to happen going on with our children and with our districts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ponce. As we enter into the keynotes, these keynotes are interactive. We will have an opportunity for you to dialogue with the keynote presenters. If you scan the QR code with your mobile device, or you go to acu.edu/TL, as in Transforming Learning, on whatever type of internet-connected device that you have, there will be a form in which you can submit questions for our participants. And we will cover those at 11 later on today.